Hi, welcome to How to Be a Humane Leader Without Losing Your Job. We're here to chat about humane leadership in a way that's real and relatable, tackling work-life challenges, and offer practical advice to navigate tough decisions, whether you're leading a team or navigating your own career. We got you covered. I'm Roberto Torres, a startup engineering leader, and with me is Chris Olekin, a Fortune 100 IT leader. We'll dive into the real-world stuff, share experiences, and offer guidance on leading with compassion while keeping your career on track. Today, we're going to talk how a humane leader break the ice and build relationships in a new company or new team. Hi, Chris. How are you, man?
I'm doing good, Roberto. Good to see you again, and we'll break the ice a little bit. How you been lately? I heard you had to go on some business trips.
Actually, I did, but it was a summit, and it was amazing. I enjoyed it a lot. I learned a lot. I met a lot of people. I had a lot of fun, actually. Too
Good,
much.
good. And I'll bet you have some good things to share with us about how you broke the ice because you are at a new company. You've only been there 3 weeks now, four?
No, no. Today is my first month at the company.
Okay,
Well, actually, it was a challenge because, as you know, I'm an introvert, and it was kind of not hard, but it was something to challenge because talking with someone new that I haven't met before, it was something. I know that you're going to give me some pointers about this.
always, right? I can't ever be quiet. So certainly, what I found when going to conventions like that, it's very likely a lot of the people, depending on the size of the company, and I went, from a very large company, so sometimes we'd be at something that maybe there might be 1,000 people from the company at it. So there's a good chance a lot of people don't know each other. So
Mhm.
sometimes it helps just to realize that um, you may not be the only introvert that is in this surrounding. And I almost found that acting like an extrovert helped me because I'm a very technical person. Maybe from our conversations, you'd be like, well, you must be an extrovert out there showing off all the time. And I'm like, nope. When I go to parties, I'm the guy sitting in the corner, just quietly sitting in a chair. Somebody else will sit down. I'll talk to them, and then they go off, and then I just sit there and observe everybody. I am not the life of the party. Um, it really takes a long time for me to be that comfortable around people. But when I would do things for work, I would say, well, what would an extrovert do? And I will do that because I will be acting as the humane leader, being an extrovert and introducing myself to people, doing my best to remember their names, shaking hands and making eye contact, and above all, trying to remember their names. You're new at the company, everyone you meet is brand new. Well, they already have in their memory a bunch of people they know already. So guess what? When you run into them, they're going to remember your name because they only had to learn one name. You had to learn 500 names. So
Yeah.
don't feel too bad when you can't remember, but gosh, do your best to do whatever tricks you can to remember people's names. It makes a big difference.
Yeah, actually, I think that is a good pointer and to provide. Yes, indeed. We are new. We're assigned to, if we go to the office, we're assigned to a workstation, and people come and go, and they see you and say, "Oh, you're new. I am," and you have to remember all those names. But I think that, yeah, indeed, the thing is adding to the being extroverted is to let people know that you are eager to work there, to be more, uh, that is fantastic to work there. The excitement, that they feel the excitement of you working there, and that allows you to get more in touch with people, and people will look at you, is when I first arrived to the company, there were people coming to my workstation. Hey, you're new. I saw you on the weekly newsletter that you're engineering, etc. And I found it really valuable. So today, what I do when I go to the office, because I had to go twice a week, is at the office, I say hi, but with my hand, hey, or my fist with everybody who is at that office, regardless if we work together or not, because it allows me to, no, it allows me for all the people to know me better because they're going to talk and we're going to talk about maybe the weekend or we're going to say maybe I don't know, nice jacket. I don't know, something like small talk, but that helps actually.
Without a doubt. And especially because you're new to the company and you don't understand the different organizations, you never know who you're going to be working with next,
Mhm.
right? For the different kinds of projects I worked on, wasn't working just with people, let's say in IT. I worked with people in the chemical side of the business. I worked with people in the manufacturing side of the business. I worked with people in accounting and finance. So, being open and introducing yourself and meeting everybody you can helps you build that network. LinkedIn is a very good one for your career, but once you're in the company, you have to think kind of like you're working LinkedIn and basically getting connected to people and getting to know their names. And I did, especially since the company I worked at was so large, if I met somebody, I did my very best to send them a LinkedIn connection as soon as possible. Reason being that, again, very large company. I remember one of the first seminar kind of quarterly meetings I went to, there literally were 1,000 people invited. I mean, we took over this huge hotel. And I mean, everybody I was meeting, because we were acquired into this big company, I didn't know hardly anybody. But I probably had 50 or 60 new LinkedIn contacts before we flew home 3 days later. And it
Mhm.
really can help you learn the names by seeing the pictures of the person. And now in LinkedIn, they're your new contacts. It really can help you learn their names a lot faster.
Oh, that's a nice touch. I haven't thought of that. I will apply immediately today.
I am the humane leader.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And I recognize it. Um, Also, one thing that is important to mention is, well, we live in two different countries and we have two different cultures. Uh, Latinos or people from Latam, we are kind of slightly different from people from the States. But if anybody in our audience are from a Latin American country, well, we tend to do small talk, and this small talk is try to gather a relationship with a person that we are talking to. We tend to, hey, where do you live? How far? What is the commute time that you made to the office? Hey, what did you do on the weekends? I trust that you had a good one, that kind of stuff. And what it does is that we open ourselves to the people who are asking those kind of questions because right now I'm a new guy. I've been only 1 month, but in a few years, I'll be 2 or 3 years, and there will be someone new. So try to mingle in that way. It is also a good way in Latin countries, to break the ice.
Absolutely. And I'd say, in general, if I were to pick the culture that builds the best long-term company, it's the LATAM perspective. And I think second to that is Americans from the Midwest, which are much different than Americans from the East Coast or the West Coast or in the mountains. And the reason I say that is Midwesterners like myself do have a tendency to be much more willing to build that relationship and invest that time up front. my experience is people from the West Coast, especially the people on the East Coast, New York, etc., they don't want to talk to you. They don't care. They just want to get the work done and they want their next promotion. And I don't care about your story whatsoever. And they just want to get to that. And so, as the humane leader, I think the best approach is what you're talking about, is build a long-term relationship. However, as a humane leader, we need to read the room. We need to read their reaction and realize that our attempt at building a relationship may actually backfire on us if their style is so matter of fact, so 110% job focused, that us just asking a few questions is putting them off. It may actually make it harder for us to have a good long-term working relationship. So do your best to read the signals, whether it's in person or a video conference like we're doing. If we start to do a little banter and you now see the person looking down and starting to be distracted and looking at their phone, realize that that person, either A, they're not ready yet, or B, they don't have the personality style that is going to open up to that kind of banter. So do your best as the humane leader to kind of read the signals, because I think we can, like I made some stereotypes about Americans, right? Midwesterners, we're kind of more laid back. We still want to get the job done and we work hard, but we want to know you because we plan on working with you until we retire. East Coasters, West Coasters, they stay at their company 1 to 2 years and they move on because they need another promotion. And again, those are generalizations, right? There's some truth in it, but it's not 100% accurate for 100% of the people. Like, I'm German also. So Germans have a much more rigid kind of approach to things. It's all work, much more serious than people from LATAM. But that's a generalization. So while they can be pretty accurate, very often very accurate, do your best as a humane leader to read it and say, well, okay, Roberto's from LATAM, but boy, he's got his engineering degree and he's into these technical things. And as soon as I start to socialize with him, he's looking down, trying to get other work done. Maybe he's a little bit different than the other LATAM guys, and I need to be more serious with him.
Yeah, indeed. One pointer also that I, as a humane leader, try to foster anybody in my team, if they are new, is when they have a virtual meeting that we have right now, is to turn on the camera. It is really important. It's something that allows you not only to see each other, but people will recognize you, because there are many people who arrive in a company and they turn off their camera and let's get this rolling. Let's get this so everybody could meet, so we could see more than your name or your photo, who you are. How I'm not trying to judge you. What I'm trying to know is to know you, to create a rapport with you. And it's not only on one-on-ones, and I mean for any meeting. It's important for anybody to do that.
Absolutely. And when you get one-to-one time, whether it's virtual or for instance, like when you did a business trip, I always made a point of trying to take people out to lunch. Now, again, the rules around expensing meals and taking people to lunch or dinner are different around the globe, and different companies have different rules. But if it's within your power to do this, I did everything I could to take people to lunch. And here's the key reason: lunch versus dinner. If it's dinner, you might be taking them away from family time. Maybe their son or their daughter has a sports game that they wanted to see, and now they feel obligated to go to dinner with you because you're traveling, and they're going to miss, the football game, tennis match, whatever it is. I never, ever, ever want to have an employee think that they need to give up personal time to be with me because it's the right thing to do for their career. So 99% of the time, I would not offer to take people to dinner. I would always be trying to take them to lunch. And I think
Nice.
that that's respectful of their private time. And, you get them out of the office and you can socialize a little bit more, even with the Germans who, like me, maybe are a little introverted and just serious about work, but you take them to lunch and they'll open up a little bit more because it's away from the office.
True, true. Yeah, indeed. And let's say that you cannot take them to lunch, but if you have lunch at the office, because right now I'm working, we are working at a WeWork, you know, there you could have lunch and then try to mingle, take your lunch. There will be a bunch of people that you might not know, that you might not work with, hey, try to get into the conversation, and there that helps not only for other people to recognize who you are, where did you work, from where did you come from, but also for you to know them. Because in the end, if you go into an office, you will be watching and meeting with these people, excuse me, will be the correct word, crossing with these people a lot. So it's nice to have this small gesture.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I remember very early when we were acquired, they did a icebreaker type gathering to help get to know each other. And they did various different things. Small groups assigned to go to a dinner. Now we had all traveled, so we were already away from our family. So dinner wasn't taking away from family time because we already had left our families and were hundreds of miles away from them. But one of the things I found was the different types of icebreakers that people would use, and some of it backfired terribly. And they did some silly kind of carnival games, passing balls around and things like that were very childish. And they didn't read the room. They didn't realize that, you were getting a bunch of very technical IT people together and they were offended that they needed to do this kind of goofy stuff versus some stuff that's kind of in between goofy but very intelligent. We did this other thing at each lunch table, which is, tell two truths and a lie about yourself.
Wow.
And while still kind of a party game type thing, it allowed you to intellectually like really try and think of something that what is a lie that's kind of plausible that these people at this table that don't know me very well and they just know me how I'm dressed and what my job title is, how can I trick them into not being able to guess what the lie is? And so read the room, and you can use these kinds of icebreakers with your team or in these big meetings, but understand the culture that you're in. I would never think to have goofy carnival games if I was traveling to Germany, because odds are 90% of those people are very serious. If I went to Latam, still probably wouldn't want them passing balloons around, but I would know that if I got 12 people at a table, they would socialize a lot in general, because
Yeah.
it's much more likely that that's the right culture there. But I would do my best to read the group to see if it's going to work or not, right?
Yeah, and reading the group is not only related to culture, it is related also to the ones who are introverted, that's I am, to the ones who are extroverted, and try not to treat the introverted as it is extroverted, because they might feel uncomfortable. That is the word. But the thing is, reading the person who are you talking to, the group, the meeting will allow you to blend in, not faster but wisely. No? So,
Absolutely. And I had one other trick I'll share with you,
great.
especially at those big kind of conventions, but this will even apply in the office. When I first started, we had security badges this was way back in the 80s, so I'm dating myself. But we had security
Oh,
things that would unlock the door electronically, and they had our picture on them. but you would put it right in your wallet or in your pocket. You didn't wear them. And then 9/11 happened and everybody got into wearing the lanyards with their security card that would open the door and things like that, or they would clip them to their belt. And what I always did is, because I would be wearing a formal shirt with a collar, I'd always clip my badge up high. And that way my face and name are right here. So you would come up to me and you'd say, "Oh, you're Chris Hollerking." That's right. You can remember my name because my badge is right up here. Versus if I'm wearing it on a lanyard, it might be below my belly button. And you're going to look kind of funny going like this, reading what my name is.
Yes.
Or if it's clipped on your belt, I'm not going to see your name down there. So as the new person, and even after I was a veteran, 15 years later, I was still clipping my badge up here, and it helped people, because I have a very long last name, it would help people recognize who I am and be able to know my name. And as much as I tried to promote that, I'd say very few people caught on to why I did it, but man, everybody knew my name.
Oh, that is a nice pointer as well. Actually, very good one. Especially if you had to wear maybe a jacket, you could
Same
clip
thing.
it over. You could clip
Same
it over
thing.
there.
Same thing.
Nice.
Badge up high so I can look and talk to you and I can see your name at the same time.
Actually, because regardless of the age that you were in, 80s or today, people have to talk to you. For instance, since we are in this, one point that I could give you is there is a variety of names, and people have, for instance, either your first name or your last name pronounced differently that it is written. So, in order not to feel compelled to maybe say the wrong word or the wrong accent or etc., you might ask the people, "Hey, your last name, could you tell me how can I pronounce it?" And people will give it to you. In this case, King, which if it might be different, that, and people will cherish that. Oh well, at least he's asking me how my name or my last name is pronounced, and I will. But and then you won't miss it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good, very good point. Very good point. It shows that you care how they feel about how they're addressed.
Actually, that's why we're humane leaders.
It certainly is. Very good. We each earned some points today.
Thank you. And I learned from you. Cool. Well, I think there are too many points that we could get, but the time has closed enough upon us. So maybe we could discuss this in a further time.
Absolutely. It'll always come up.